Instagram February 19th, 2019. It got 278 likes. My friend John also posted a picture on Instagram and it got 358 likes. My friend Ryan posted the same picture on Instagram and it got 252 likes.
However, the message that we sent to the internet was that we had been together throughout the course of the weekend. You know, to some people, could, to an outsider, come across as a bit of a boast.
I can understand this because I too am a consumer of social media and I see kids posting pictures of themselves on vacation in exotic places, receiving awards, or themselves at parties.
To some, this constant influx of other people's boasting is a source of self-comparison, and according to Adam Gabbett from The Guardian, this self-comparison could lead to depression. Social media is an excellent way to stay in contact with distant relatives or friends, build a brand, or spread a message. But these negative factors beg the question, is technology making us more alone? On my quest to come to a conclusion, I went to my cousin Rebecca to pick her brain to find out how the mind works.
So depression is a mood disorder, can also be classified as a mental disorder. So depression can be caused by many things. You can have a predisposition to developing any mental illness. A lot of the times it's influenced by the environment that you're in. So if you subject yourself to environments that are really tough, or you're around a lot of people who are very critical, you're more likely to develop depression.
I mean, social media is a pretty critical environment. I mean, people are always judging you. So do you think social media could trigger depression or a feeling of loneliness?
Yes, I think depression could trigger loneliness or feelings of depression because social media is mainly about perception and it's not about things that are going on in your real life. So people will go to experience things just to take photographs of them, to post them on social media, to make it look like they're doing things that are relevant or cool. Coachella is a great example. A lot of people don't care about going to music festivals just to experience the music. They care about going so they can post pictures on Instagram, post Instagram stories about it, and make their lives look a lot grander and more important than they actually are.
So ultimately, do you think that people that use social media more have a lack of fulfillment with themselves or their experiences? Is that what you're getting at?
I think that people that use social media a lot and that care about it have less fulfillment in their lives, even though they're perceived to have greater fulfillment, because you're not going to experience things to immerse yourself in an environment and enjoy something. You're doing it so that you can look cool and so that other people think that you're cool. So I would agree that people who are heavy social media users experience lack of fulfillment versus greater fulfillment.
So do you think that a follower count on any kind of social media platform could be an inaccurate representation of how many friends you have?
Yeah. I think follower count often just is a representation of whether or not people like the stuff that you post or are interested in your life. I know I follow people who I don't really care about them as people. I just think the stuff that they do is cool. So I'm feeding into their misrepresentation of their own lives.
Right.
So I think everyone can kind of get caught in it. Mm-hmm. But just because you have 1 million followers on Instagram doesn't mean that you have 1 million friends in real life. I think one of the most followed people on Instagram is Kylie Jenner.
Right.
She has maybe one friend or one person in her life that she can genuinely trust next to her family. So I think that's a great example of somebody who has the largest follower count in the world, maybe like close to 150 million people, but doesn't have any close friends in real life, because those are real relationships.
I mean, would you be surprised if there was some kind of correlation between technology use and depression?
So there is a strong correlation between technology use and depression, unfortunately. So a lot of it is social media based. And even too, off of social media as well, people who just spend a lot of time gaming or on their computer isolate themselves more. So although that you think that you're interacting, via gaming or on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, you're not developing real life interactions. And for example, if you don't develop social skills in a critical period of your life, from when you're born to around age 7, you'll never be able to develop those skills. So that's why they're so important, and humans are supposed to interact with each other. We're naturally social beings. We crave that. And a lot of people crave attention and affection. So when we use that in social media, it kind of messes things up a bit.
How has something that seems so convenient, so beneficial to our day-to-day life, become a destructive tool to our well-being? Recent studies have found that despite being more connected than ever, people are feeling more alone than ever. And it's from the group that you'd expect it from the least, those under 35. And they're the most prolific social networkers ever. The same group that did the 35 and under study also did a similar study asking people how many friends they have. And recently, most people would say one really good friend. Now, 25 years ago, this same group asked a different group of people, they said they had 3. So obviously, with a change in technology and social media seems to be deteriorating the quality of relationships that people are having with each other. How could technology be related to this? Well, the studies done by Margie Worrell point to the fact that, they were done before the internet. So obviously there's a correlation between the internet and having less close friends. In an article titled "Why Social Media is So Addictive and Why Marketers Should Care," Tom Larry from CMS Wire says it's FOMO, or fear of missing out. People want to stay connected, and the more connected that you are, apparently that gives you more clout. Another reason that people seem to be so attached to social media is their ego. People that put their ego first seem to get a false sense of accomplishment, but they have more followers. The last reason is perceived value. Okay? Perception equals reality, and on social media, you want people to think a certain way of you. Right now, you're perceiving me to be on a beach, but in actuality, I'm actually at a wildlife sanctuary. Roll that clip real quick. We didn't see the sign. Yeah, so I'm not supposed to be here, but you initially thought I was on a beach.
I think that we all use social media to our enjoyment. I mean, hey, I'm doing this for my senior project in high school, and in a few weeks, this entire group of kids won't be together ever again. So I think it'd be fitting to follow everyone on social media and to see where their life journey takes them. It's going to be fascinating to see everyone develop into the person that they become. I could throw study after study at you that support the idea of this entire documentary, so here goes. Researchers at Michigan State University found that young children that are consuming multiple forms of media at the same time, such as playing a computer game while watching TV, could be linked to symptoms of anxiety and depression. This is important because having a heightened exposure to anxiety at a young age could be detrimental for behavioral development later in life. PJ Manny from Live Science wrote an article titled, "Is Technology Destroying Empathy?" In the article she writes, "With so many opportunities to connect, why do we still not understand one another and face such conflict?" Experts found that empathy is something that people express to one another and tend to show these feelings of empathy to those in their social group. Social media is big with showing off your friend group or family, so those on the outside of this tight-knit social group that you formed begin to have feelings of loneliness after constant exposure to other people's boasting. Throughout the course of this project, I've come to the conclusion that technology in and of itself does not make people more lonely. However, it does in fact make people feel this way, and that's important. We need to understand that what you see on the internet is not real. People want you to perceive them a particular way because that's what satisfies them. In my interview with Rebecca, she talked about various outlets that allow the user to enhance their appearance. Yes, it was off script a bit, but I found it intriguing.
So, how do people distort their lives on social media then?
So a large way that people are able to distort images or themselves are through filters. Like literally, you can also use this app called Facetune, which I'm pretty sure everybody knows about. You can do things like whiten your teeth, make your skin look clear, get rid of a pimple. You can even go so far as to make your waist look smaller, other parts of your body look larger that you want. A lot of people want to look like Kim Kardashian with an hourglass figure,
Right.
which she had surgically done, so it's actually not possible.
Right.
You can just smooth out your entire body and make yourself look like a version of yourself that you actually aren't.
Right.
So, Facetune is a big one, and then there's an Instagram account called CelebFace, and the whole Instagram account is dedicated to showing comparisons of actual photos of celebrities versus the ones that they post on social media. So they'll show you how exactly that celebrity made their nose look smaller, made their lips look bigger, lifted their eyebrows, made themselves look thinner. So I think that's like a really great account to look at to kind of just realign yourself into understanding that like even celebrities who you think are perfect still have distorted like images of themselves.
Right.
And a lot of people look up to these people like the Kardashians, and what they post is not actually what's real.
So I mean, like to an average person, like do you think having these distorted realities would deter someone from like starting a conversation with them or like making a relationship with them because they're clearly trying to get people to perceive them a certain way?
Yeah, because I know a lot of guys who like see pictures of girls online and they meet them in person and they're like, you don't look anything like that. Or
Yeah, there's this thing on Reddit and it's like r/Tinder and it's like just a compilation of like people that are not the same people and it's so funny.
Yeah, so it's like you meet someone and they have shown you photos of themselves like 2 or 3 years ago, or you meet them and they just don't look anything like
Right.
what you've perceived them to look like. So I definitely think so. Like catfishing, it's like low-key catfishing.
Very low-key, because I think low-key catfishing in and of itself is just not showing up. But that's the person that you're showing isn't showing up really. It's something completely different.
Answering the why to this question is nearly impossible to reach because not even the professionals can narrow it down. In fact, from a previous article that I referenced above, here's a quote. Quote, "We don't know whether the media multitasking is causing symptoms of depression and social anxiety, or if it's that people who are depressed and anxious are turning to media multitasking as a form of distraction from their problems." End quote. This was Becker, the assistant professor of psychology at Michigan State. But we do know that somehow, somewhere, there is a correlation between high levels of social media usage and feelings of loneliness. I titled the documentary, "Is Technology Making Us More Alone?" So why have I been talking about social media the whole time? Well, because by spending time looking at a screen, we slowly deplete the amount of face-to-face interactions we need in order to live a mentally healthy lifestyle. And depression is what the journalists, psychologists, and scientists have all talked about in the articles that I have found. It's a slippery slope that nobody deserves to go down. We owe it to ourselves to understand that our well-being is not best suited by falsely portraying our endeavors online, but actually going out and having real-world experiences. You don't need to bring your cell phone everywhere. Sometimes being less connected is better. My guy, Neil Donald Walsh, he's the guy from Conversations with God, once said, quote, "Life begins at the end of your comfort zone," end quote. And at this point in time, I'm a senior graduating from high school and going off to college. It's an exciting time and I want to remember as much of this time as possible because I'll never get it back. I don't want to waste this time looking at my phone, so go out and experience as much as you can while you're able to. Don't waste your time staring at a screen. So put your phone down and thanks for watching.